any polynomial equation of the form f of s is equal to Pn of x is equal to a0 into x raised to n minus 1 plus a1 into x raised to n minus 1 up to an equal to 0 is called as the algebraic equation. So if you notice that this is a polynomial, simply a polynomial without any logarithmic trigonometry function, a pure polynomial equation with the right hand side as 0 or which can be equated to 0 is called as the algebraic equation. The examples for the algebraic equation includes the x raised to 4 minus 4x square plus 5 equal to 0, and you can notice here 4x square minus 5x plus 7. All those things qualify under the algebraic equation. So you have learned many or different types of method for solving the algebraic equation, given from the variation of power like x square, x cube termed polynomial, as well as a series of or a group of algebraic equations by the matrix methods. Coming to our concern or our problem in the module 5, we have the transcendental equation. So an equation which contains polynomials like the algebraic equation, trigonometric function is a new addition, logarithmic functions and exponential functions are called as the transcendental equation. So it's very clear. In addition to the polynomial, we have trigonometric functions, logarithmic functions and exponential functions for the transcendental equation. So the examples include tan x minus e raised to x is equal to 0. You have the trigonometry function, you have the exponential function, and these if you rearrange the equation, tan x is equal to e raised to x. So you can notice that both x term is there on the left hand side as well as the right hand side, which makes this equation to solve in a simple way. Similarly for sin x minus x into e raised to 2x. So sin x is equal to, it will come, if you rearrange it, it will be sin x equal to x into e raised to 2x. Similarly, again, this is already rearranged form, x into e raised to x is equal to cos x. So this type of equations are called as the transcendental equations. So now we are clear with that. Both the algebraic as well as the transcendental equations can be solved by a series of methods. It includes the bisection method, method of false position. This is called as the regula falsi method. I think you have already studied this one, but now it is listed in the syllabus in a different name by the regula falsi method, method of false position, the iteration method, and the Newton-Raphson method. So these methods helps us to solve the transcendental equations. So we'll study in detail the different methods that is listed in the syllabus. First one is the method of false position. So a little bit of theory for framing the equation. You can see this small figure, or I can make it a big sorry. Yeah, you have an equation y is equal to f of x, right? So this is the x value, this is the y value. So as the equation is y is equal to f of x. So when you are applying some value for x like a, you may get some value f of a. Similarly for b, you will get the value f of b. So the solution for y is equal to f of x means whenever you find a value for x, this function should satisfy the equation and the left hand side should be 0. That is our aim. So the value varies from a to b when you apply the f of x values. So it ranges from f of a to f of b. So basically we are adjusting or like adjusting the values so that we reach the real solution. X1 is a solution because it converges to y0 and x2. There are two solutions if it is there, or it can be a single solution also. This is our way of doing, like we will do it by adjusting the values to get it as 0. So think that if you put a, you are getting a negative value. So say suppose this is -2. Suppose you're putting b value, you are getting a positive value, positive 3. So that means that whenever you gave, say suppose a values 2 and b values 3. So whenever you gave f of 2, like the function 2 value, you got a -2 negative value, and a positive value you got +3. So that means that the real x value that satisfies the equation lies in between 2 and 3. So you will again change it, and then you will find say around 1 or like -1 or +2 may satisfy the equation. That's the main idea of doing with the method of false position method. Coming back to theory, this is another method to find the roots of f of s is equal to 0. This method is also known as the regular falsy method. In this method, we choose 2 points a and b. We choose 2 points a and b, and such that f of a and f of b are opposite sign. We have f of a as negative, f of b as positive values. Hence, the root lies between these points. It's clearly understood. The equation of the chord joining the 2 points. So the 2 points are joined by this chord, or even this chord also. This is not there. Okay, this chord is joining that one. Then these points, a f of a and b f of b is given by y minus f a. Y is the value, y minus f of a divided by x minus a. The real value of x minus a, that is distance, is equal to f of b minus f of a by b minus a, the full length of the values. So this is equation of the chord, and this chord can be used for solving the transcendental equations by the method of false position. When we replace the part of the curve between points a f of a and b f of b by means of the chord joining the points, and we take the point of intersection of the chord with the x-axis and the approximation of the root. The point of intersection is obtained by putting y is equal to 0. So I clearly told we need a solution of x, so that when you put the value of x, the y should converge to 0. So in this equation of this chord, we are putting the y value as 0. So this b minus a will come to here. So b minus a into minus f of a, as minus minus will come plus. That's why yeah, it's equal to x1 is equal to a into f of b minus b into f of a by f of b minus f of a will give you the solution. So x1 is the first approximation for root. So if f of x1 and f of a are of opposite signs, then the root lies between a and x1. So this is very important when you're putting two boundaries, some left extreme and right extreme. If you're getting a negative value or positive value for the left extreme, the reverse should be for the right extreme. Then only you can assume that the value is between these ranges. So when the root is lying between a and x1, we replace b with x1 and obtain the next approximation. So this is decided based on the nearest values. Okay, like you have the 0 as center. Suppose you are getting for applying a value of a, you are getting -5, and for applying the right hand side, you're getting +9. That means -5 is very close to the 0. So you will decrease this value. This f of suppose you put f of 5 here, to put here and a f of 9 here. So you will rearrange the value for this positive to come back because as the point -5 is very near to 0. So that is told here. We will replace the b with x1 and obtain the next approximation x2. Otherwise, we will replace a by x1 and generate the next approximation. The procedure is repeated till the root is obtained to the desired accuracy. This method is also called as the linear interpolation method or chord method. So please make sure that you learn all these like the terms because it may ask. Okay, we'll see a problem to make it very clear. You have the transcendental equation. Determine the root of the equation. Cos x minus x into e raised to x equal to 0 by the method of false position. Right. So you are initially assuming the a as 0 and b as 1. We are putting the values 0. When you put 0, cos 0 is 1. 1 minus x will be 0. So this will be tending to 0. So f of 0 equal to 1. Clear. When you put f of 1, cos 1 minus 1 into e power 1, you will get minus 2.1779. So you found that the value is very close to f of 0 than f1. So we here applied the a equal to 0 and b equal to 1. So we found that the root lies between 0 and 1 because there is a value change from positive to negative. And our new x1 will be equal to, we have derived the equation that is a value is 0, 0 into f of b is minus 2.1779 minus b value we have the 1 and 1 into f of a is 1. So by applying this equation, we get the new value as 0.31466. So basically this 1 is reduced or it got near to the 0, 0.314. This is a new value. Now we will use this value in substitute to the a value. So we have the new value. When you apply the new x1, it is f of 0.314. Whatever you got here, you got 0.51986 as a new value. Now, so you found that the root lies between 0.314. This is the new a value because we found that we found this new a value with by using the equation, and this will be the previous b value. So applying or repeating the steps again, you will again find a converging x2 as 0.44673. Then you will proceed like this so that you find that at x6, it is at f of 0.51692, this equation is getting converged. That is the solution for cos x minus x into e raised to x equal to 0 is satisfied when you put x is equal to 0.51692. So when to converge? So that is the description of the like the person who solves this problem. Normally in like if the 2 digits, it can be told in the question paper. Here we have followed like the first 2 digits, 5151 is matching. So we have converged in that way. That is the error between the last 2 values should be minimum, which will be prescribed in the question. So this is how we solve the problem by the method of false position. So we are putting some two extreme values and we are converging it to a 0 value. To make it more clear, we have the second problem. Determine the smallest positive root of x minus e raised to x is equal to 0. Consider 3 significant figures. So this is very important. This is what I am telling regarding the convergence. So we are starting with a as 0. When you put a 0, 0 minus e power 0. So it will be minus 1. We have minus here. So minus 1 is the value for f of a, and when you put 1, you got 0.63212. So this satisfies the condition. That is, when you're putting the values, you got a negative value as well as a positive value. So the our solution lies between 0 and 1. Then you can apply the equation to solve for further steps. The smallest positive root lies in between 0 and 1. Here a equal to 0 and b equal to 1. Then you put x1 is equal to the equation which you have studied previously. You can get the value of 0.6127. So this is the new a value. So when you put the value f of 0.6127, you got near to 0, like 0.0708. So the value is very close to 0.6. That is the main takeaway from this line sentence. So we will keep on approximating. Our new a value will be new a value will be 0.6127, and our new b value will be 1. I'm sorry, in the reverse way. Our a value will be 0, and we have converged the b value to 0.6127. And by proceeding in the similar way, we got the new values of x2, x3, x4, x5. And you can notice that the x4 and s5 values are deferred in the third 567. No, it's correct. 567, 567. Even S3 is also having a 0.567. So we were asked to stop with the 3 significant figures. Yeah. Okay. So we reported only S is equal to 0.567. This will be the smallest possible positive root for the solution of this transcendental equation. So I'll stop for today. We discussed a simple problem on the regular policy method. In the coming classes, we will discuss the Newton-Raphson method, followed by the iteration method, and the last topic of this module will be the Lagrange interpolation. Okay, I'm logging out. Thank you. Any doubts? If you have, you can ask.